Okay, I just dropped all the cards. This is the card of the gods. Well, not this one specifically, but all you do is think of a card. The card gods then know it, the deck then knows it, and then I know it. But the fact that a spectator can just think of any card, make a random choice, and then end up finding their card, amazing. You will get some great reactions. So here we go. For those of you who are curious, by the way, these are the Product Red playing cards by Theory 11. I'm not a huge fan of red decks, but for some reason this one really clicked with me. So to start, we'll hand the deck off to the spectator. Spectator can shuffle up the deck if the deck has many cuts as they want, shuffle it up this way, shuffle it up that way, just until the spectator's satisfied, and ideally I want the deck to be satisfied with the handling as well. So if everyone's satisfied, I'm satisfied, and the deck can be put down on the table. Now, I kind of want to make this as much free will type deal as possible. So you shuffled up the deck, completely fair. What I want you to do now is pick up a packet of cards from the top of the pile. Just let's say less than half the deck. You pick up this many cards here. You can shuffle them up as much as you'd like, right? Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Now we're gonna take a look and memorize any one of these cards. Again, just to say that one more time. You're not touching any card. You're not taking any card out. You're not looking at it distinctly. You're not saying it out loud. You're just gonna take a look at this whole pile, this whole packet, and think and select one card. Of course, if you're actually here, we can actually do that. But since you're not here, let's just say you selected this card over here. So this is your selected card. Take a look at this card, memorize it, and put it back in the packet. Then you can shuffle up this packet now as much as you'd like, right? Boom, packet has been shuffled up. Very fair. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to shift some cards around, right? I'm gonna shift some cards around and see if I could actually move your selected card. Let's see. Well, actually, I guess if I really think about it, no matter what I do, I'm going to be moving your selected card, because if one card moves, do you know what position your card is in, by the way? Yes, no. Let's shift it up a bit more like this. So now everything is actually lost. There we go, and that should be good enough. Now I'm going to start, since you don't actually know what position your card's in, I'm going to start dealing them up face up like this, and I'm going to count out loud. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to remember what number your card is at. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right? We got that done. Place it right on top of the deck. Even give the deck a cut. Even give the deck a shuffle. Right? That should be shuffled enough. That should be shuffled enough. And then I'll just cut the deck, let's say, in half. Now, hopefully you know what position your card's in, because if you don't, we're going to have slight problems. Like I said, I want to make this as free-willed, as free pick-choosing as possible, so your decision now matters. Depending on which packet you pick, we're going to have to make a different choice. But also keep in mind, whichever packet you pick, that's the packet that we're going to go with. We're not going to do a switch out or anything. The packet you pick is a packet we're going with. Let's just say you selected this packet. I'm going to tell you right now, your card was the 6 of... That's what... Okay. Okay. Let's do this. What position was your card in? 13. 13. Okay. Let's do a difference. Between 13 and 6, that's going to give us 7. So we'll take the other packet now, and we'll count down 7 right from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's your selected card, the Jack of Hearts. Boom. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. This effect, of course, is known as the Card of the Gods, made by the god himself, Vernon. Quick backstory on this effect: I was reading it from a book, and for some reason the steps just didn't register in my mind. So I was having an office hour session with one of my Patreon members, and I can't emphasize how much I appreciate him, but he helped me simplify the explanation, and then all of a sudden everything just clicked. I'm like, wow. So huge shout out to him. Now before we dive right into the tutorial, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and get ready to fool all your friends. Now grab your favorite deck and let's do it. So welcome, my friends, to the tutorial. A bit more info before we actually go ahead and break it all down. I'd rank this maybe at the intermediate level, like literally mid-range intermediate, just because of the couple of steps that are involved to actually accomplish this effect, some practicing that's involved, and the pattern that you have to build, or the performance that you have to build around this whole effect. So that being said, I think you definitely can't do this as a beginner, but it's a great way to kind of ease into that intermediate field and just take it from there. So like I said, it's amazing how much free choice the audience really has throughout this entire effect. So to begin, take the cards out of the tuck case, hand the deck over to the spectator so they can shuffle it up. Again, this just gives them the feeling that they have some level of control of what's about to happen. And of course, you got all the control. They got none of the power. You put the deck down on the table, or they put the deck down on the table once they're done shuffling. And then ideally you want them to pick around, let's say 15 to 20 cards. But if they pick more or less, that's completely fine. I just say cut a packet of cards off the top of the deck. Just make sure it's less than half the deck. So they pick some number of cards. Let's just say they pick this many. I don't really know how many that is. For now, you can put the rest of the deck over to the side. We have this whole packet of cards. If they want, they can shuffle it up even more. If not, that's completely fine. From here, you're going to tell them that they can memorize. They're going to take a look and memorize any card that they want from this pile, which I think is insanely fair. And after they select, I like to kind of just recap, or maybe even before they select, I like to say, I don't want you to pick out a card. I don't even want you to touch a card. Don't say it out loud. Don't glare at it like furiously. Just think and memorize any one of these cards, which I think giving them that option is unbelievable. Let's say they pick the King of Spades, right? They pick the King of Spades, and then they shuffle up the packet one more time. So I like to kind of just recap every now and then just to really push home the fact that it's as fair as can possibly be. So they selected a card, they thought of it, I have no idea where it is, I have no idea what it is, it's somewhere in the deck. Now you take the packet back, there is one special thing that you're going to need to do. And this kind of varies between every performance that you do, but it's never failed me once, so you should be completely fine. As you go through the deck, you want to find 2 duplicate cards, ideally in the range of 4 to 9. 2 duplicate cards in that range. And literally you're picking up about a third of the deck, so you should always be able to find 2 duplicate cards. Right off the bat, we see we have 3 7s. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 of those duplicate cards, so 2 of these 7s, and you're going to place them, one in the position of the value. So in this case, we got a 7. We're going to put this in the 7th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to go here. And the other card is going to go right before the 7th position, which I guess is the 6th position. See, but now this becomes 8. So if I take this out, just again, to do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one of the 7s should be at the value -1, and the other 7 should be at its value, which is 7. So if we had 2 6s, one of the 6s would be at the 5th position, the other 6 would be at the 6th position. Hopefully that makes sense and it's not really too much math. So again, let's say the spectator selected the King of Spades. I'll put that somewhere in the center. And then you've set up the 7s here. And I guess the background I kind of give is I'm going to try to shift around the cards, and I want you to see if your card was shifted around at all. This gives me a judgment of if I'm even close to the right area. Of course, they had no idea what position their card is in, right? They shuffled up the deck. So I like to kind of take that back and say, you know what, actually, you shuffled up the deck. You have no idea where your card is anyway. But so I just say, now we're going to go through and you're going to have to remember the position where your card is at. So all we've really done up to this point is have a spectator select a card and shift our duplicate cards to the value and value -1 position. So you say I'm going to start dealing with the cards face up. So you have the pile face down. You start dealing off cards face up one at a time, counting out loud 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, you tell the spectator to memorize the number their card lands at. Don't say it out loud, just memorize that number. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the card is at the 9th position, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, right? All the spectator is memorizing is their card is King of Spades, and it's at the 9th position. You now take this packet and put it on top of the deck. Now, there are actually 2 different outcomes to this whole effect. One, the first outcome, let me just take off this packet of cards again. There were 16 cards, whatever. The first outcome is if the card is located after the cards you set. So for example, we set the 7s. The first outcome is if the card is after the 7s. The other outcome would be if the card is, let's say here, before the 7. So those are the 2 different outcomes that it can have. But let's just say we have this outcome at this current time. Outcome number 1, the King of Spades is in front of those 2 7s. Of course, you don't know this as of yet. All you did is take this packet and put it on top of the deck. From here, there are a couple of moves that are involved. And I think this is probably the most technical part of this whole effect. Everything else is just building pattern and making sure you execute the steps in the right order. What you're going to do is give the deck a cut, but you're just going to give the deck a cut. And I cut a bit more than half the deck. So I cut a bit more than half the deck. Take this, I slam this bottom half on top of the deck, but I want to catch a break right above where the original top half was. So I just throw that like this, try to square everything up as much as possible, and I even try to make everything flat up front so it doesn't seem like there's a break. Of course, sometimes you can kind of see the line there, but don't worry about it too much. It's really not going to matter, because immediately now you start doing an overhand shuffle. And this is where it gets a bit more technical. You're going to have this break here. Your thumb is kind of going to press down and forward here. So you have your thumb fat or thumb skin inserted between these two packets. So your thumb's here. Now you're going to start executing the overhand shuffle. As you shuffle, these cards are going to go down on the deck. And as soon as you get to this break, now you're going to shuffle over the number of cards that were in your in your packet, right? So you had 7 cards. There were 7 cards there, right? Your value was 7, right? You're going to shuffle off that many cards. So you shuffle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're peeling them off one at a time with your thumb while making it seem like an actual shuffle. Then you peel off, or you bring the 7th card back. This is called an in-jog. Using your thumb, you're going to peel this back, throw the rest of the cards on top like this. So it should seem like a fair overhand shuffle. Now at this point, you have this 1 card sticking out. You're going to take your thumb, you're going to go up and forward, creating a break like this. And now you're going to cut this packet in half. You're going to place the top half on the left-hand side, bottom half on the right-hand side, right? And all the hard work has now been completed. I know we went through quite a lot. If you want to rewatch the video, you definitely can. If you want to slow it down, I know I covered a lot in that short amount of time. And again, we'll quickly recap as we go through the other phase or the other possibility if the card is before your set value cards of 7 and 7 in this case. Now, because of the way that shuffling was done and because of how the deck was cut, 1 7 is going to be on the bottom half on top, right here. The other 7 is going to be on the top half on the bottom, right here. So again, the spectator has a choice now on what packet they want to pick. Again, I like to quickly recap, and here I like to say this decision is a completely free choice. Whatever packet you go with, it's going to impact the outcome of this effect, and it's when whatever packet you pick, that's the packet we're going with. I'm not going to switch anything around, not do anything crazy. Everything is completely free choice. If they pick the bottom packet, or the packet on your right, you flip over the top card and say that's a 7. If they flip over, or if they pick the packet on your left, you flip the whole packet over and show the 7. What I like to even kind of say is they flip the card over, there's your selected card. Or if they pick this packet, I flip the whole thing over, there's your selected card. When of course, that's not it. That's kind of just plays off as a small joke. Right, so let's just say, and again, at this point, you don't know if the card is more than your value, or if the card is less than the value of your 7, right? So let's just say they pick this one. They pick the left one. You turn this face up, and you see the value of 7. You say that's your selected card. Like, no, it's not. Then you're like, okay, let's try this out. What was the value position of your card? They're gonna say 9. Now, because your card was after the 7s, or it was further down, it was a higher number than 7. You're going to get the difference of those 2 cards first. So 9 and 7, the difference is 2. And because it was after, you're going to take the top pile, right, flip it back down. And now you're going to deal off the difference between 7 and 9, which is 2. 1, 2, and there's the card, the King of Spades. Now let's run through the second scenario. Let's just say the spectator went ahead and picked out a card. Again, just thought of any card. And again, we'll say it is the King of Spades. And you're looking through, you find 2 duplicate 6s instead of 7s this time. The first 6 is going to go in the 5th position. The next 6 is going to go in the 6th position, right? So the cards are looking like this. And of course, the spectator selected card is in now the 3rd position. So as you're going through, spectator remembers their cards in the 3rd position. You still go through the rest of the packet just because of that's just the nature of Magic. That's what we do, right? And we know we have our 6s as our value card now instead of the 7s that we had last time. And again, the king is in the position before the 6 versus after the 6. So we already covered after the 6. Now we're covering before the 6. This packet again goes down here. And again, I'll speed through this a bit more, but I just want to really make sure that you get this because I had trouble understanding this in the beginning. You give the deck a cut, make sure you cut maybe a bit more than half the deck in the beginning. Cut like this, come to the break, overhand shuffle the entire top packet. Sorry about that. Overhand shuffle the entire top packet. Once you get to the bottom half, you're going to count the number of cards you had and shuffle that over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the value you had saved. In jog, throw the rest of the packet over. Get a break underneath that one card you in jogged. Push up and forward. Put the top half on the left-hand side, bottom half on the right-hand side. Spectator is able to pick any one of these. Let's just say he picks the bottom half this time. You flip it over, you say, that's your card. They say, no, that's wrong. I'm like, okay, that's completely fine. Now you ask them, again, what was the number of your card? They say this time it was 3. Now, if the number was less than the number on the card, then it's always going to be in the bottom half, and you're still going to do the math. So they say their number was 3, so let's do the math. Difference between 6 and 3 is 3. Turn this card back, face down on top of the deck, then count 3. So 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be the spectator's selected card. So you might be feeling like there's a lot going on, there's a lot to memorize, but trust me, once you practice this a couple of times, you'll get it down. Like there's no doubt in my mind, and you will kill it with the performance. You'll get some killer reactions. I know in this video I talked a lot about the overhand shuffle, so if you want to take a deeper dive into it, I kind of made a mini masterclass on it that you can check out by clicking this video right over here. 100% worth it if this is really what you want to do. And as always, a huge shout out to all my Patreon producers. We actually got 3 new people this week: Dennis Goria, Chris Sharp, and Mike Pugh. Thank you guys so much. It truly means the world. And thank you. Love you. See you soon.